So, the opponent states that the video games allow for a child to express violence through a video game instead of reality, but there is no need to encourage violence in reality or in video games at all. So, having the new system would greatly decrease violence in minors, because according to studies, more than 70% of American teenage boys have played the violent and adult-rated Grand Theft Auto video game, and those teens are more likely to have been in a fight than those who have not played, according to the new Gallup poll granted in the Washington Post. Also, analysis also show that exposure to violent video games result in increased psychological arousal, aggression-related thoughts and feelings, as well as decreased prosocial behavior. Lieutenant Colonel David Grossman, a former West Point psychology professor, states that video game publishers unethically train children in the use of weapons, and more importantly, harden them emotionally to the threat of murder by simulating the killing of hundreds or thousands of opponents in a single typical video game. The opponent states that there is no direct correlation between mature video games and violent crimes in reality, but a few examples prove otherwise. According to Stephen Hudak of the Cleveland Pain Dealer in September 16, 2003, in February 2003, a 16-year-old American, Gusta Lynch, was charged with aggravated and made a sanity defense that he was obsessed with Grand Theft Auto 3. The attorneys said that they had better tell the jury about the violent video game that trained this kid and showed him how to kill the daughter, Jolene. Also, according to Justin Calvert of GameSpot on September 22nd of 2003, on June 25th, 2003, two American stepbrothers, Joshua and William Buckner, ages 14 and 16 respectively, used a rifle to fire a vehicle on Interstate 40 in Tennessee, killing a 45-year-old man and wounding a 19-year-old woman. The two told investigators that they had been influenced by Grand Theft Auto 3. In China, on Claim Daily in June 8, October 2004, a 40-year-old Chinese man named Kui Chengwei stabbed a 26-year-old to death over a dispute regarding the sale of a virtual weapon that two had jointly won in the game Legend of Mir. Also, in May 2010, French gamer Julien Barret located and stabbed a fellow player who had stabbed Barret in the game Counter-Strike. In December 2007, a Russian man was beaten to death over argument in the MMORPG Lineage 2. The man was killed, whom his guild and rival won challenge he turned into a real-life brawl. The excessive violent video games also attract a large number of children. 10 out of 11 companies its study produced at least one marketing document specifically for boys under the age of 17 for violent and M-rated games. The problem with the current system is that the 80% of the minors who attempted to buy mature-rated video games were easily able to do so. So, with the new system, it would discourage the sale of mature video games to minors under the age of 17. According to the California law in place right now, Schwarzenegger versus Entertainment Association, it would prohibit the sale of violent video games to minors less than 18 years of age. Violation of this law would carry for a $1,000 fine to be levied on any business found selling or renting video games deemed violent to minors. Our opponent also said that just because we have a natural tendency for violence does not mean we need to promote violence through video games. But then again, there is no need to encourage violence anywhere at all. And except for playing mature-rated video games, as examples show, encourage and influence violent behavior in reality. And it also takes away time for valuable, productive time. High school students, according to Harrison Williams, high school students who report spending more time playing video games or report spending the money on video games had poorer grades in English. And also, it discourages the children to leave the house and be productive outside, leading to a sedentary lifestyle. And according to the ESRB ratings, although they are labeled on the games front and back, a bigger label should be placed on the video games to let parents know, because according to the BBC News article, video games increase aggression and interactive, and it is parents' obligation to uphold those. And with the support of the ESRB and the new plan, it would let the parents know what is good and what is bad. For example, years ago, a man said, "When my son was just 10, I struggled over whether or not to let him play Halo 2. I fear scarring my son's young mind." And so, the new plan would decrease violence, and it is the government's job to restrict violent video games to minors.